I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the Internal Revenue Service. Welcome to my YouTube station. It's the home of the 5-minute or less video. I'm here to calm you, not make you more nervous. I have a whole team of former IRS agents on staff. I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. I've worked over 10,000 cases. I've been doing this for 50 years. I am a national expert. I'm on TV a lot on the national news. You can see all me in a coat and tie, all prettied up. And you can see my other team of former IRS agents at 777irs.com. I do these videos for 3 reasons so you don't get ripped off. Number 2, there's a lot of scam artists in the business, especially in the offer and compromise program, which I'm going to talk to you about today. And I just don't want people all nervous. If you want to use me, you can, but if not, learn from what I'm telling you today, because I've got a lot. I don't need a suit and tie because you're calling me. I don't need a script because you're learning from 50 years of experience. A lot of people will call me and say, hey, are there different type of programs to settle your tax debt? And the answer is no, there's only one. As a former revenue officer, I used to sign away offers in compromise, accepted and deny offers in compromise. So I'm an expert in what I'm about to tell you. There's only one program to settle your tax debt, and that's the offer in compromise. Your liabilities can go away by abatement of penalties. You'll abate some of the penalties. By statute of limitations, 10 years expires. But the only way you're going to go ahead and get the debt taken care of is through the offer and compromise. It's the only way you're going to settle your debt. I want to just tell you a little about the program. Myself and Peter Salinger. Peter's a beast. Peter worked about 2,500 offers and compromise at IRS. He was an officer manager actually when he was there, and I worked a bunch of them really back in my day. So when you want to settle your debt, a couple ground rules. You have to have all your tax returns filed, number 1. And number 2, you got to make sure you're current on estimate or withholding payments. If you're not, the offer and compromise go back like it never went in. Number 2, the offer really is comprised of 2 parts, your assets and your income and your expenses. It's that simple. There's a formula. I want to tell you a base formula first. If you have the amount of assets to pay your debt off, if you sold everything, your equity, pensions, and you can pay the tax off, you're not eligible for the offer and compromise. So a lot of people call me and they have home equity that can pay the debt off. Well, IRS isn't going to accept a debt because they got a federal tax lien on your home, or they will, so they're going to get that money that way. So what does IRS do to put a scope on to want to accept your offer and compromise? They want to know the value of your assets. That's what they want on line 1. What is the value of your assets? They will use real estate values, realtor.com, the different systems. And then they will get values of your cars or any assets you have. So they have that value. Then the next thing they're going to do is they're going to look at your income and expense ratio. This is critical because most people get trapped here. They're pretty good on the asset side, but IRS is going to drill down on your income and expenses. And boy, do they drill down. What you have to understand is IRS is going to have you commit to certain of your actual monthly expenses. IRS is going to take that pen and say, not so fast. We have our own standards that we're going to allow you, and they've been set up by the Department of Labor, and they're used in bankruptcy court too. So if you want to find out what IRS is going to use for you and use for your expense column, you're just going to Google this, IRS National Standards for Food and Clothing, IRS National Standards for Housing and Utilities. It's going to land a state page, and then you're going to hit your county. Then IRS National Standards for Vehicle Expense. Then IRS National Standard for owning a car. IRS is going to dictate to you what you're allowed to use, and if there's any money left over at the end of that column, they're going to multiply that by the life of the statute on your case. If your case is only 2 years old, IRS is going to use a 96 multiplier on your case. So before you going ahead and wanting to settle your debt, you have to know this formula. And another thing that's really, really big, if you're going to call somebody, you want to make sure that the person's either an enrolled agent, a CPA, or an attorney. Why? Those are the only three classifications of people that can work your case. If the person is not an enrolled agent, a CPA, or an attorney, they can't represent you. And most 90% of the people who pick up the phones are administrative people, and if they're not administrative people, they're salespeople, and they're collecting 50% on how much they can get into your pocket for. Lastly, and the most important, is if you're going to work with someone, not us or whoever, you want to go ahead and give them the financial statement that IRS is going to require for the offer. That's the form 433A OIC. You have to give them that form. If you don't, they're going to have no way of telling whether you're eligible for the offer and compromise. So remember, when you call someone, if it's not us, make sure they're an attorney, a CPA, enrolled agent, and you always want to give them the form that IRS is going to use for the offer, the 433A OIC, and this way you'll know you won't get ripped off. For us and other people, I suggest you Zoom so you get a good idea who those people were. I hope this was good information. It's all about the offer and you settling your debt or trying to get removed some of your IRS debt. Give me a subscription if you would. I'd really appreciate it. YouTube thrives on subscriptions because it kind of lets them know we're important. Whether we are or not, I don't know. But anyway, don't get all excited about stuff. It's not the end of your life. Just hire someone good and they'll explain the program. Thank you so much. My contact information is below.